Do you struggle to find customers who appreciate your expertise and who are willing to pay you a fair price for your products and services? The problem that most retailers have is having customers who use their showroom as a convenient place to view and handle the products, seek advice and expertise from the staff, and then buy the exact same product online at a fraction of the cost. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ian Retallack, and I help retailers to attract more customers to their store by helping them to leverage the incredible power and automation of the internet. And in this video, I'll be showing you how to attract a steady flow of new leads to your business without having to give away silly discounts. I'll be showing you how to create conversations with your target audience so that they are drawn to your business and ultimately will be willing to pay you a fair price for your products and services. But before you can attract new customers who are willing to pay you a decent amount, you need to create value in the minds of your customers, because customers will only ever pay you what they think you're worth. That's the harsh reality, and I'm sorry for being direct, but if you have customers coming into your store and they're constantly asking for silly discounts, it's because that's what they think you're worth. So if you want to get paid more, or at least get paid a fair price for your products and services, you need to change the perception of your customers. And the way that you do that is by clearly defining and communicating your value to your target audience, which is essential if you want to get paid well for your expertise. So how do you do that? Well, the key to creating value in the minds of your customers is by understanding their problems and frustrations even more than they do themselves. When you offer solutions that they hadn't even thought of, you can almost see them nodding their heads in agreement, because you create this immediate connection with them and they begin to trust you because you understand them like no other retailer does. So here are 4 key questions that you can ask yourself to help you better understand your customers' problems. Question number 1. What questions and frustrations do your customers have just before they're about to buy your kind of products? So for example, if you're in the furniture trade, your customers may be Googling the question, ideas for changing my living room, because maybe they want to refurbish their home, and of course this will influence the kind of furniture they buy. Now you may be surprised to know that between 10,000 and 100,000 people are Googling that question every single month. So if you're in the furniture trade, you may want to think of answers to this problem and post it on social media. You may be surprised at the kind of response that you get. But of course you don't want to target everyone, because not everyone's going to be in your market right now. So it's really important just to focus on the target audience that are most likely to be interested in your products and services right now. So if you want to know who your target audience is and how to find them, I will be covering that in my upcoming free webinar, and you can find details about that by clicking on the link below this video. Question number 2. Do you know anyone who's ever had a bad experience because they didn't seek your advice? So for example, perhaps they decided to buy something online instead of seeking your advice, or perhaps they bought an inferior product, or they bought something from one of your competitors and had a bad experience. You know, when I was in lighting, you would not believe how many customers would forget to measure the height of their ceiling, and they'd go off and buy an expensive chandelier only to get home in the evening after the electrician has put it up to find that it was too big and it was just sitting in the middle of the lounge. Maybe you're in the furniture business and you have a story about someone who bought the wrong furniture. It didn't match with the decor and they weren't able to take it back to the retailer. Now I remember buying our leather lounge suite and the salesman telling us very specifically that this was non-refundable because they'd made it especially for us. Now thankfully for us it worked out. And by the way, if you don't think that this is a serious problem, you may be interested in watching the YouTube video 3 sofas that you should never buy, which at the time of this video has over 800,000 views, which just goes to show that this is a serious problem for many customers. My friend Jerry Cheshire from Surrey Beds discovered that his customers were more willing to pay a fair price for his beds after posting a series of helpful videos on social media. He also offered a free download PDF on the 7 key mistakes that people make when buying a bed. Not only did this raise his personal profile, but his customers were drawn to his business because they knew that they were going to get value for money. So if you can help to answer this problem and others like it, customers are more likely to see you as the expert, and they'll begin to appreciate you and value your advice. and they're less likely to haggle over price. People on social media love to hear about stories that could impact their lives because they don't want to make the same mistakes. So you may want to get together with your team and brainstorm some ideas of the common mistakes that your customers make in your industry, and then create a blog or a post that you can post on social media. But of course, you need to remember to add a call to action at the end of that blog or that video in exchange for your customers' details. Now, I should point out here that it's really important not to try and sell them any products at this stage because you haven't yet created a relationship of trust with your customer. So it's far better to take them to the next logical step, which could include offering them a free guide or a PDF download of how to avoid to make certain mistakes in your particular industry. Question number 3, do you have any positive stories from customers who've had a great experience when they bought from you? Now, this is not about the products, but it's really about positive experiences that your customers have had from you, the retailer, or perhaps from your staff. So have you had any experiences where your customers are raving about your service, or perhaps you bent over backwards for them and you went the extra mile? You know, in my book, David and Goliath, How Independent Retailers Can Take on the Giants and Win, I share a wonderful story about a friend of mine who owns a lighting business who agreed to supply internal lighting fixtures for a retail outlet in Scotland. And they were going to be opening up this store very soon. But unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond his control, the lights arrived late and he only had 24 hours to get these light fixtures to this retail outlet in Scotland. And of course, he was based in Leicester. But that didn't stop him. He decided to jump in the car with his wife and they drove the 5 hours up to Scotland to make sure that those lights were delivered on time for the opening of that retail outlet the next day. And their customer was so impressed that they offered to pay for their hotel at their expense. Now, that's a great story, and maybe you have some stories similar to that that you can share with your target audience on social media, which is going to make an incredible impact when they hear about things like that. By the way, if you want to know who you should be targeting and how to engage with your target audience, I'll be covering that in my free upcoming webinar, and you can find details about that by clicking on the link below this video. Question number 4, what tips or advice can you give your customers that will enhance their enjoyment of your products? You know, not all products solve an obvious problem. So for example, you might own a jewelry store or you might sell some giftware. So it may be better to offer your customers some tips and advice that will help them to get more out of the products that you sell. So maybe you're in a stationery shop, and instead of trying to sell your calligraphy pen set, you could create a beginner's guide to calligraphy video to help them to engage with your products and to enhance the enjoyment from the products that you sell. Now, these kind of videos will attract the kind of customer who wants to learn a new skill, and maybe you could follow that up by inviting them to a workshop at your store. Well, I hope you've got some value from these 4 messages, and I know that as you implement these 4 strategies that your customers will begin to appreciate you more and see you as a more valuable retailer. It will also mean that it's less likely that you're going to have to offer excessive discounts just to make a sale. So if you'd like to learn how to target your specific audience, please join me on my next free webinar, and you can do that by clicking on the link below this video. Choose a date and time that suits you. This webinar is about 60 to 90 minutes long, but you will get a mountain of value from that webinar, and I'll be sharing some real-world examples and actionable strategies that you can implement into your business the very next day. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you on my webinar, where I'll be sharing more insights and strategies on how you can attract more customers to your business by leveraging the incredible power and automation of the internet. Bye for now.